We are pleased to welcome now Chip Pickering, CEO of INCOMPAS, former representative for Mississippi's 3rd Congressional District. Chip, good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Gerard, great to see you.
Glad it worked out. You could come in the studio today.
Always better in person.
Yeah, absolutely. So I read with interest the couple of articles that you penned, along with Robert D. Atkinson. This one, U.S. antitrust as an anti-competitiveness weapon. Absolutely. I mean, totally spot on. And what really intrigued me here, Chip, just a little background, is his discussion of Xerox and the Xerox Palo Alto Research Center. As someone who spent a career in the IT business, I'm kind of a history buff on the IT industry. But the article points out most average people don't realize most of all this wonderful technology we enjoy today, that's where it was invented.
And if you read that article, it talks about how the antitrust action against Xerox, which was the world leader at the time in the technology of copying, which we don't, today we think, oh, that's old-fashioned, old tech. But at the time, it was really cutting edge.
Big time.
And antitrust American policy at that time restrained the leader in the global economy, and inadvertently, and the unintended consequence was that Japan became the world leader in copying technology.
That's exactly right.
And I think in today's AI revolution, transformation, and race with China, we're at the risk of doing the same thing, of giving China all the advantage as we cripple leading American technology companies, just as they have to build, scale, scope, making huge investments, just like they're doing in Madison County with AWS data centers. And what we're seeing this week in Pennsylvania with President Trump, what he did with Google and other major energy companies, $90 billion.
Unbelievable. He was with Senator McCormick.
Yes. And it was the largest investment in Pennsylvania history, just like the AWS investment was the largest in Mississippi's history.
Yeah.
The data centers, the energy, the fiber, the broadband, what I like to refer to as the full AI infrastructure is extremely capital intensive. And so if we're going to let AOC and Bernie Sanders and the socialist left align with some on the populist right to cripple American technology, as we're in this race with China, and I put it in the context. In World War II, we had the nuclear race, and we, in a very short period of time, built the Department of Energy laboratories that built the nuclear capabilities that allowed us to win World War II and then lead the world post-World War II. In the Cold War, we had the space race, and very quickly we built from Houston to Stennis Center in Mississippi to Huntsville to Cape Canaveral, the space infrastructure that allowed us to land a man on the moon first.
Yeah.
But those were all of government federally funded initiatives to win those critical strategic races.
Yeah.
Today in the AI race, it is the private sector that is building the infrastructure that will allow us in our national security, our cybersecurity, our space, and our economy, and then all the benefits that will come from the different uses of the new technology and applications. That is primarily, overwhelmingly, private sector funded.
Yeah.
And so,
unlike China, by the way.
That's right. And China is all of government, all in, building infrastructure, energy plants, nuclear plants, data centers, giving all the funding resources from both their private sector and their government to win the AI race.
Yeah.
So we can't be in conflict with ourselves to give the Europeans or the Chinese the advantage over our private sector technology initiative to win this critical race at this point in our history.
Yeah, and the president pointed out the other day at this conference, the summit that was conducted by Senator Dave McCormick of Pennsylvania, he accompanied him there, that he feels like that we still have a lead on China in the technology, but that we're lagging in the energy, which is necessary to advance the technology. And so he sort of called upon the nation to to step it up to get more energy. I saw, you may have seen this as well, Chip, that Westinghouse, this is kind of a name you don't hear a lot about these days, although back in the 60s and 70s they were a prominent company. They are planning to build 10 new nuclear sites, right? Nuclear power sites.
It's amazing what they're doing on nuclear. And in my association, INCOMPAS, is I never believed I would have a nuclear company join INCOMPAS.
Yeah.
But because we have data centers and fiber network companies, and then all the leading from small tech to established tech companies on the model side, the one thing in their supply chain that they need is energy. So I now have the leading natural gas company, Williams Company, the leading new small modular nuclear reactor company, X Energy, which came out of Oak Ridge, did a major announcement with AWS in Northern Virginia. Join. We have a company out of that's an affiliate of a Louisiana company called Southwestern Power, building grids and transmission in the southwestern region of the country. And then we have a fusion nuclear company called Pacific Fusion. All trying to work together between those who are deploying the models and building the models and those who are building the data centers and who desperately need the energy for this moment. And Mississippi has a rare opportunity. We have some of the best pipelines for natural gas coming through our state. We have 3 major utilities, Southern Company, Entergy, TVA. We have Grand Gulf, the only nuclear plant in our region. And so we have all the components of being able to be an energy hub that will power the data centers and the economy. And this is what's exciting to me, Gerard. I think this first wave of investment of what you're seeing in Madison County and Meridian and outside of Vicksburg with all of the data centers, I-20 has become the AI alley of tens of billions of dollars of investment from Birmingham to Monroe. Really centering at Jackson, Mississippi. The dark fiber routes that a company that's a member company of INCOMPAS, Zayo, built that not only went from Atlanta to Dallas, but New Orleans to Chicago, but intersected at Jackson.
55 and 20.
And then Elon Musk locates his XAI super data center in Memphis. So you kind of see we're becoming the hub of AI, the alley of AI, which means that we're going to have to be an energy hub, a research hub. You and I talked on one of our earlier conversations about how Mississippi has more supercompute capability than any state in the South.
So true.
Mississippi State has the largest high-performance computer in the Southeastern Conference. We have the Army supercomputer at Vicksburg.
Big Cray over there.
Navy supercomputer at Stennis. 50% of DOD's supercompute capability is in Mississippi. And since we're the center of the South, and all of these applications and uses travel in fiber networks, which means they travel at the speed of light. We have the advantage of the speed of applying these new uses to what I think is coming next, which is going to be the reshoring of American manufacturing, and it's going to be strategic and advanced using robotics. And the great thing for Mississippi, if you can get the supply chains down the Mississippi River or the Tennessee Tom-Bigby or through the port of at Gulfport, the supply chain, the compute, the fiber, the data centers will allow us to really be a manufacturing hub, and that will be in biotechnology and chips, automotive, aerospace. So the next wave that's coming to Mississippi, and it can come to places like the Mississippi Delta or to the Columbus Golden Triangle area, because they can get the raw materials into those ports, build the manufacturing of the future. And Mississippi's, I've never been this excited about our future as I am right now. And the reason, our GDP was the second fastest percentage growth in the country this year. That's never happened in your lifetime, in my lifetime.
Never, right.
And so all of the AI infrastructure and elements are in place, and the invaluable component of all of this is that we have the right leadership Tate Reeves and Bill Cork are doing a tremendous job in recruiting and building the AI infrastructure and the energy strategy that we need. Senator Wicker, chairman of the Armed Services Committee, his committee is reporting out this week the National Defense Authorization Act. It will call for a range that will bring AI warfare training, all domain, so land, water, air, space. And we have a chance in Mississippi to provide that type of research and training on national security. UMC is going after a comprehensive cancer center. We have an opportunity to be a real leader in cancer research in the coming age. So I'm very bullish on where Mississippi is.
We got a break right now, but if you can hang around, I want you to talk about your concerns about this ruling from the Department of Justice on Google's breakup.
Okay.
Coming right back
Sure.
with Chip Pickering. Stay with us. Yeah.
So between Birmingham and Monroe now,
Yeah.
we've had INCOMPAS, the $10 billion data center commitment outside of Meridian.
Mm-hmm.
What I expect will be probably north of $20 billion by the time AWS builds everything in Madison County.
Yeah, I agree.
And Meta,
announced at 10,
yeah,
but I think
and
it's
Meta is
more
doing
than
a huge data center
in Monroe.
complex between Vicksburg and Monroe. Other big announcements are coming.
Yeah.
And so, again, I couldn't be more excited for Mississippi's future.
Well, as you know, the installation of that fiber along that route, it goes back about 25 years or so.
That's right. Most people don't realize WorldCom became the world's largest internet backbone company, not just nationally, but the largest in the world. Started in Brookhaven, Mississippi.
Yeah.
Comcast started in Tupelo, and then my hometown of Laurel, and it is the largest last-mile broadband company today globally in the world. Those things started here and then spread.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And then we had Altel in Arkansas.
Altel.
Right.
And so our history in wireless entrepreneurship and deployment and internet backbone and the infrastructure of the internet age. Now I believe that we're going to be the regional leader in AI infrastructure.
Yeah.
And very well positioned to grow and to prosper like no one in our lifetimes have seen.
Totally agree. Couldn't agree more. All right, so let's talk about this article that you wrote concerning the Department of Justice's antitrust lawsuit against Google.
Yes.
Talk about that.
In a period of transformational technology, the last thing you need to do as a government is to intervene and stop the innovation as you build scale scope. But what AI is doing, it's allowing a lot of the companies in my association now that are the new entrants, the new technologies. General Catalyst is a large venture capital fund. What they're doing in energy and healthcare and defense technology is really mind-blowing. And they will disrupt the large tech companies, whether that is Amazon or Meta or Google. Search will become a very dispersed and competitive market because of the new technology. So the last thing you need to do, though, is to try to force an action which will stop all of that competition, large and small. And as we talked about earlier, you could inadvertently hand China the edge because we don't have the private ability to build the infrastructure like we're seeing Google and AWS and Meta and Microsoft and the large American technology companies doing today. But it's enabling all kinds of new entrants. And that's what I think sometimes antitrust gets so narrowly focused, they don't realize the damage they could do at a critical time in the emergence of a new technology and new markets and the global damage that can be done to the American economy, national security, and leadership.
Well, it kind of makes sense to me, antitrust action does, when you've got this really tight vertical integration where one company owns sort of soup to nuts, end to end, the entire supply chain. That's not the case here, and that rarely is the case in technology.
That's right. And technology is the market is no longer a local market or a national market. It truly is a global market.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the Chinese companies rise right now. And as they compete worldwide with our companies, again, it's very short-sighted. And I think that the Xerox example that we talked about earlier is a good example. We ended up handing that part of technology leadership to Japan at that time.
Sure did.
We were talking about the early browser.
Yeah,
And,
the browser wars.
By the time the antitrust actions were over, the world had changed, and a new entrant, came into being that didn't exist at 1998 and 2000, Google. So, I mean, you have these new entrants that appear that change everything, and I think that's what we're going to see in the competitive technology landscape today.
Well, I always think about before we go is how does society benefit from
That's
the
right.
DOJ breaking up Google? I think it's just the opposite.
Well, and that's it. Our antitrust law is based on something called the consumer welfare standard.
Okay.
And is the consumer better today than it was yesterday?
Okay.
And I think it's clearly the answer that the consumer today, because of our technology companies, are better today than they were yesterday.
Unquestionably.
And the pricing, the innovation, the wide range of new uses and applications that will bring tremendous productivity into everyday lives, small businesses, mid-sized, large businesses, and to the overall economy.
Appreciate you coming in, Chip.
Yeah, that's the consumer welfare.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.